Bienvenidos culés, and I welcome you to another special edition of Blograna Always. Now, why am I calling this special? It's because today we will be celebrating the career of one of the greatest football players of all time, who recently announced that he will not be extending his contract with Barcelona, and hence this season would be his last with the club. And of course, I'm talking about none other than Sergio Busquets, who is often touted as the best CDM this game has ever seen. But even for those who don't agree with that statement, I think everyone can very easily agree that if he's not the best CDM of all time, he's definitely up there, right, with the very best, if not the best. So, Sergio Busquets made his first team debut with FC Barcelona in 2008. Pep Guardiola played an instrumental part in getting him to the first team. Since then, in the 15 years since, he has made over 700 club appearances, winning 32 titles, which includes 3 Champions Leagues, 7 Copa del Rey, and 9 La Liga titles. He has been part of the golden era of Barcelona. Busquets was not a very flashy player. He didn't have those flashy hairstyles. He didn't have those tattoos. He didn't have six-pack abs that you see with a lot of players. But what he did do was he made football look very, very, very simple. It's a lot harder than what Busquets makes it look like, and he was press resistant. You've seen it. You've seen it over the years. If you've seen Busquets, you've seen that it is impossible, nearly impossible, to get the ball off of him. And he played an instrumental part with Xavi and Iniesta as part of arguably one of the greatest, inarguably one of the greatest midfield trios of all time, with Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets playing a very, very important part at the heart of Barcelona's attack. Of course, Sergio Busquets is also currently our club captain, and him leaving is going to definitely leave a void behind in terms of leadership for sure, because his presence in the locker room, his very presence in the locker room, is something that a lot of young stars could look up to and could learn a lot. So this is definitely a huge loss for the club. In terms of footballing, in terms of his footballing career, he's not been at his absolute best the past 2 or 3 seasons. I think we can all agree on that, and so it's not very surprising to see that he's put the club's interest before his own, and hence decide to call it a day with when it comes to FC Barcelona, because he's always been that kind of a person. Sergio Busquets has always been that selfless football player who would always place the interests of the club above his own. Another very important thing is that Sergio Busquets was on a relatively high wage rate, and him leaving the club means that signing of Lionel Messi becomes a little easier, which is again great news for Culés, and it again exemplifies and shows exactly the kind of selfless behavior that Sergio Busquets has portrayed on his way, even outside the club. He's been selfless throughout his career at the club, never asking for glory, never asking for the spotlight, and even on his way out, this is how he wants it to be. He wants it to be about the club and not about him. And this is precisely why I feel that we need to celebrate his career more. As cool as we need to let the world know how important Sergio Busquets truly was to our setup and to the way FC Barcelona plays. And losing him is going to be it's going to leave a void which is nearly impossible to fill. We've seen it with other legendary players in the past. We've seen it with Xavi, we've seen it with Iniesta, we've seen it with Messi, we've seen it with Gerard Piqué, we've seen it with a lot of players, and just missing out, just having these players call it a day. Um, it's it's a highly emotional moment, and it is also, with Sergio Busquets leaving the club, it also truly marks the end of an era when it comes to that incredible 2011 Barcelona UCL final side, which many people consider to be the greatest football side of all time. And it's an emotional moment. It's one that Sergio Busquets has taken, keeping the future into consideration, and we should all respect his decision and celebrate his career the way it deserves to be celebrated. 15 years of the club. Let me know what your favorite Sergio Busquets moment is in the comment section below, and I should see you soon. Hasta la vista.